Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings. Now let's get straight into it. So we left off here at verse 4 in Revelation chapter 20. I believe this is part 5. So let's get it. Depending on how much we get into, this may be the last part, or it's either going to be only one or two more parts. Get it. We'll go over verse 4 again. It says, "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them." All right, so certain judgment is going to be given to the children of Israel too as well. But this is mainly referring to the 12 apostles, all right, given that judgment. And that's in Matthew chapter 19, verse 28, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. For the sake of time, I'm not going to it, but I believe we've already grabbed that scripture. All right, verse 4. "And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image." Remember, an image is if someone says you're like your father, you're like his image, right? You're just like him, but what he represents. Of course, you may look like him too, but not just what he looks like. You act like him. You have the same countenance, the same spirit. All right. So likewise, the image of the beast, whether it be, like I said, the mother goddess or the Virgin Mary, or which is one and the same, or it being Caesar Borgia, or just what the image represents. Just remember, either way, it's the same, because that is the image of the beast. The image of the beast are the left-hand side philosophies and pagan deities and everything this world tries to get you to do that's contrary, to the scriptures. That's what the image is. That's what it represents. Okay, because it's pushed to you that this nation is quote unquote one God, under one God, and indivisible, and liberty and justice for all, and it's nonsense. Okay, if the foundation of a society is not built on the scriptures, it's built by men, by the doctrines of men. Okay, and if it's built by the doctrines of men, that's a satanic society, man. All right, it's a beast society. It's a wicked society. And I'm thinking of many different scriptures to kind of go along with what I'm saying. I just don't want to, continue to drag this out. But either way, that's what the image of the beast is. All right. So we are called to not be a part of this beast system. All right. There's many different things that it entails. But one thing is being able to cut off those around you that are, that want to be a part of this world. It's one thing that that you can have control over if you haven't already done it, or you scared to do it. And it's going to be hard for you to let this beast system go if, the people that you're with, they're fully set in this system. You're going to constantly be at odds with them, or if you're not at odds with them, you're going to be going along with them, whether they be your parents or your pops, your mom, even your children, your best friend that you've known since elementary school. It don't matter, man. Or, hey, for the brothers, your women, all right? Your woman, or maybe your women. Whatever the case, man, you got to put them away, man, if it come down to it. All right. If they fully into this beast system, man, you got to let them go. Okay. They want to, celebrate these different pagan holidays and whatever it is, man. It's a million different things. I'm not sure exactly what you're going through individually, but if it's not in the scriptures to do, okay, then it's probably not anything you should be heavily involved in. All right, get in and get out. That's the only way we can ensure that, we are standing for the witness of Yahushua and the word of God, or the word of the Most High. Okay, not worshiping the beast. All right, so spiritually, you got to be out of here, man. Spiritually, you just gone. You been gone. Spiritually, you care nothing about this place. And, you don't have to care about America. You don't have to care about this society spiritually to even prosper, and you don't have to care about it. An example is you have the so-called Asians. They set up shop in so-called black communities, but they don't even like your black behind, man. You know, they act like they may smile while you're in there, but they really can't stand you. And some of the most quote unquote racist people there is, or the so-called white man, could do the same thing. Or the so-called Arabs, they'll set up corner stores all in the hood, but they really don't like so-called black people. They just know that we into that type of stuff that they sell. Cigarillos and Black and Milds and liquor stores that they sell, whatever the case. Okay. That's an example of them. They physically there to get our money, but they don't even care. They taking that money back to their neighborhoods, back to their people, man, to their own nation, and building themselves up. All right. We the only people that allow things like that too, by the way, because we don't believe in these scriptures, and we don't have a culture set to where we wouldn't allow things like that. Because if we try to set up shop in Chinatown or something, you get ran up out that thing, or they just wouldn't buy from you. The Chinese people, they just wouldn't buy from you because they deal with their own people. We the only ones that believe in this system, man, this globalist society where everyone is quote unquote equal and all that. It just don't exist. Okay, it just don't exist. So we gotta not worship this beast, neither his image, no matter what that image is specifically. Whether that be the mother goddess, and by the way, that it includes the worship of the woman. Whether you call yourself an Israelite or not, you still have to be cautious of that. If you're a brother that believe every so-called black woman is a queen, and your mama's boy and all that stuff, man, you pretty much worshiping the mother goddess, man. The image of her. All right, you a woman worshiper. Gotta cut all that out, man. That's all part of this beast system, and not just everybody else. That goes for me too. We all have to stay sharp out here, man. If we, plan to have a right, in this kingdom, at least, at least, Lord willing, to make our calling and election sure. All right. And it says, neither had received his mark. And it says, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. Okay, the RFID chip. Because again, look, I've seen some of the precepts, I believe, like in Ezekiel chapter 9, I want to say. I could be off about the one of the main precepts that brothers that believe this is spiritual. They say, yeah, it's, you take in doctrines with your right hand and all that. And this is mainly referring to Revelation chapter 13. But yeah, man, either way, you stay out this system, you don't take the chip, you should be good to go. But and I know most of the brothers that believe that it's spiritually referring to the philosophies and doctrines of this world. They also will say, hey, don't take the chip. So, I mean, it's not like they promoting the chip, at least some of the brothers. I don't know. Can't speak for everybody. Yeah, I'm just playing, but I mean, it literally came. But either way, just don't take the chip, man. Lord willing, I won't be able, I can say that I won't either. So that's really all that is. Okay, again, this is not a Revelation chapter 13 breakdown, nor RFID chip breakdown. But either way, that's what this is in reference to. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Now let's get into this portion of verse 4, because I know this can be quite confusing. You read, okay, they reigned with Christ 1,000 years. If we as in our people, not me, as in our people, will be in rulership for for forever. Why does it say 1,000 years? This is referring to the time period before that final judgment. All right, when the kingdom of Christ is being built up, because the kingdom is not going to be built up just in one day. All right, when Yahushua comes back, it's just not going to bam. The kingdom is just built up. It has to actually be physically built up. Okay. And how is that? Through slave labor. Okay. From the other nations and also the elect building it up. Okay. And then you have that final judgment when all the dead will rise. And then if you're not written in the book of life, you're going to be taken out. And then Israel will reign forever at that point. So that's why it's sectioned off here, this first dominion, as Micah, the 4th chapter, calls it. Okay. So it says, verse 5, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Okay. So, blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power. But they shall be priests of the Most High and of Yahushua, or Hamashiach, which is Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Okay, so that means that those that are resurrected first under Yahushua, they won't have to worry about the second death, meaning that judgment when everyone is risen and judged for their lives. They won't have to worry about that because they know that if they're risen, all right, in this first resurrection, and they're part of these elect, then they're going to have eternal life. The second death will have no power on them because that is their judgment there at that point. Okay, so those saints, the children of Israel, they're part of the elect. Those, men will reign with Christ 1,000 years. Okay. And will be priest of the Most High and of Yahushua. All right. Because again, the kingdom has to be built up and the other nations have to be taught the ways of the Most High. They're going to be killed for it. And I know we've covered a lot. I just mentioned a lot. So let's actually get the scriptures to kind of go over that. All right, let's start here. Now, this is Revelation chapter 14. This was kind of more on the beast. On the mark of the beast. Okay. Now it says a glorious return. Let's get Matthew chapter 24 and verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, that's where you had in verse 4 in Revelation chapter 20, where the saints were being beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So the sun and the moon shall not give her light. What does that mean? So the light or the knowledge of the nations will be darkened. When you have, Yahushua coming back, and even before that, around the time of the tribulation, when it's going to be known who the children of Israel are. And let me grab that. So, no, I'm not just making this up. Let's get 2nd Esdras. I ain't bugging out, man. 2nd Esdras chapter 16. And we're going to go all the way down to around verse 70. Okay. 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. The great tribulation. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Well, if the Jewish are already known to be the chosen, then this scripture is not accurate. But we know the scripture is not the scripture. It's just these people are fakes, man. All right. Let the Most High be the truth and every man a liar. Verse 74, Hear, O ye, my beloved, saith the Lord, Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Okay? Because Yahushua is going to come and save the children of Israel from this great tribulation. Okay? And that's going to be one of the signs that Yahushua is on his way back when you have this great tribulation taken off. You have some people that say this great tribulation is happening right now. I don't believe that, but we also do not know the time or date when Yahushua is going to come back either. So there are some things that have to pop off first before Yahushua comes back. But either way, there will be a great tribulation. All right, and it's going to be known who the children of Israel really are, because those are going to be the people that's going to be persecuted, and it's not going to be no doggone Jewish people. All right, they already got the clout right now. They got the power. All right, they have prestigious the international bankers. A lot of them are so-called Jewish. They they hold prominent positions in in many different aspects of this society. Okay? They're not going to be the ones that's going to be tried in the fire. They're not going to be the ones persecuted. Okay. Verse 76, and a God of them who keep my commandments, which they don't. Okay. I'm just using them, right now, just so people understand that don't know. But for those of us that know, it's, that goes without saying. But either way, in precepts, saith the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Okay? So, those that actually keep the commandments, all right, they will be, like it says here, there shall be like madmen, sparing none, spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, being beheaded, probably more than likely out in the public. All right, ramshacking your house, taking your goods away, maybe even attacking your women and children, man. There's no telling how dark this will be. The scriptures say this is going to be no other time before, and there's been some dark times in Israel, so you can only imagine what's going to take place in this tribulation. All right, but that's what Yahushua is referring to here in Matthew chapter 24. Of course, in Mark chapter 13 and Luke chapter 21. Okay. But back to the point, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Okay, so the sun being darkened, the moon not giving her light, the knowledge of this world is not going to give its light. I mean, it's not going to be, it's going to be revealed who the children of Israel really are. Okay, all the different games that they playing, it's not going to work anymore. Okay, once it's realized that Yahushua is a so-called black man, because he is. Okay, Caesar Borgia, all that nonsense, man, people not going to believe in it anymore. And once they understand that the scriptures are written for one people, Christianity isn't going to be a thing anymore. Okay, and any of these other religions, the sun is going to be dark and the moon is not going to give its light anymore, man. And the stars shall fall from heaven. Okay, the stars of this world, the leaders of this society, all right, shall fall from heaven. Heaven is a rulership. Okay, that's what it means by the stars. They even call the celebrities today stars, right? They're going to fall from heaven, fall from out of rulership. Okay. Because people are going to know what's been going on. It's been fake this whole time. We live in a fake world. It's just a fake reality. Okay, it's all scripted and, you know, all part of the plan to really everything that's done is to, take the children of Israel into captivity. It's all done for Israel's sake. Okay, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay, and that's why. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great, with power and great glory. Verse 31, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So that's going to be those that are part of the first resurrection. Okay. The elect that's going to be gathered from the four winds, meaning the four corners of the earth. All right. Because like in Isaiah chapter 11, you're going to have those in the north parts in North America, here in America. All right. You're going to have those in the different islands. All right. In the Caribbeans and in South America, in Europe, all over, four corners of the earth. The elect are going to be gathered together and taken into heaven. All right. To save them from the destruction that's going to fall place when Yahushua brings his angels back, and the different hellfire is going to be, rain down upon this place from the elements. Okay. You read about that in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. All right. Do we want to cover that real quick? I mean, again, this chapter, you can get into so much, man. It's, we really can go in depth here. I'm trying to stick to the chapter. What I may do is some of the different aspects of Revelation chapter 20. I may go back and, make some smaller parts of it just to go into it more in depth, because I like to actually show scriptures of some of the things I refer to in my lessons. But for the sake of time, again, I just can't, or, we'll be here for 10 parts. But I may do that. If brothers and sisters would be interested, just let me know. But again, that's what's going to happen when Yahushua comes back. Okay. Now let's get Revelation chapter 19. It says, and after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Alleluia, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore. That's this place, America or Babylon, is the great whore who sleeps with everyone, has no pride, all right, is not shamefaced at all right, and just all over the place and has no standards. That's this place. The great whore opens her legs up for anyone, all right, and cannot be trusted. All right, and if you follow her, will have you into great sin. All right. Now, who should join itself into a harlot, right? Which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Okay. Now let's go into when Yahushua comes back, what that's going to look like. All right, let's start at verse 11. The coming of Christ. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in his righteousness he doth judge and make war. Yahushua is coming to make war and judge. He not coming to, tell everybody everything is all right. He coming to kill. He coming to destroy. All right. When I say destroy, at least the wicked. Okay. He's coming to make, peace and order. All right. Which is through judgment and through war. All right. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. Of course, this is referring to Yahushua. Okay. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, represent purity. Okay. Verse 15, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. He's coming to smite the nations, not join them all together, man. And he shall rule them, the nations. Hold up. This is against what they teach you in the church. With a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power. Meaning, it's going to be so much blood, it's going to be like a wine press. All right. It's going to be like an overflow of wine. All right, from a wine press. Look up a wine press. Okay. He's going to rule the other nations through a sharp sword. All right. So that's what's going to happen when Yahushua comes back. And again, it's going to be the kings of the earth. That's what we're about to get to right now. And he hath on his vesture and his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together into the supper of the great God. Verse 18 is what I want to get to. That ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. So again, in verse 19, and I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. So the kings of the earth are the people that's in rulership or in control of this society right now. Okay, that's in control of this Roman Empire, this Roman kingdom, this Roman Republic. Okay, this current society. And this is not just referring to those that are known. There's a lot of people that run this world that are not known. They like to run in the background. They like to run things in the background and have different pawns and puppets, like the president of the United States. They like to have them take all the blame, where, you know, they're just the figures of what this place actually represents. Outside of like the Pope, the Pope, whoever the Pope is, he is a king of the earth. Okay, on the spiritual side, he's one of the kings of the earth. He's going to be destroyed. All right, Yahushua is not coming here to, you know, sit with the Pope, you know, go get a drink with the Pope. Go get some wine or something, sit down, go get a margarita. Hey, how we gonna run this thing, man? I know you here right now, and you know, how we gonna spread this thing out? You gonna get the east, I get the west. You know, no. You know, he's not coming to have joint rulership with nobody. So the kings of the earth, like the Pope and, you know, the quote unquote international bankers, whoever else, who people would call the Illuminati, but it's really like a CIA term. I wouldn't really ever use that because it's like pop culture, but really those that run the scene run things behind the scene. Those are the kings of the earth. When Yahushua comes back, he's going to wipe all of that out. Okay? Because in order for Israel, for their kingdom to be established, all right, all of that stuff got to be wiped out. So all these people have to be, you know, sacrificed, all right, for the kingdom. And when I use the word sacrifice, I'm not just making that up either. That's in the scriptures. It's going to be a great sacrifice. Okay. The kings of the earth, they're going to be the sacrifice, man. All right. And what other point did I want to make there? That's when Yahushua comes back. Now, after that happens, And then you have, like in verse 15 here in Revelation chapter 11, and the seven angels sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. So the kingdoms of this world, whether that be, the UK, United States, Russia, all right, all the BRICS, all right, Brazil, Russia, hey, whoever, South Africa, all these kingdoms of the world are going to become the kingdoms of our Lord, Yahushua, okay? Well, of our Lord, the Most High, and his Christ, his Son, his only begotten Son, all right, Yahushua Hamashiach, or Hamashiach Yahushua, all right? He shall reign forever, and he shall reign forever and ever, all right? And the nations are going to be angry about that, man. You see this in verse 18. Nations are going to be angry. All right, they're not going to want to, bow down to, Yahushua. So when he comes back, it's not going to be, a one-day process. Then the work begins, once the kingdoms of this world are, absorbed into, when I say absorbed, at least dissolved, and become the kingdoms of our Lord, then the work begins on the other nations, because at that time, the elect, they have to go through and actually, set the ground rules for how things are going to go down now. Okay, and that's why it says they're going to be priests. In verse 6, it says, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Because, Israel is going to be the healing of the nations, man. They got to be in, put in captivity and taught the commandments. All right. Let's see. All right. Speaking of, being put in captivity, let's get Isaiah chapter 24 and start verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, okay, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, which is the first death. By the way, we read about the second death, okay. On such the second death have no power. The first death is when Yahushua comes back and destroys the kings of the earth, the hosts of the high ones that are on high, okay. Verse 22. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, the bottomless pit. Okay, and really all lands are called pits. The bottomless pit is what's over here, and what the scriptures call Magog. Okay, the Caucasus Mountains. That's the bottomless pit. We went over that too, but I wanted to refresh that one more time. All right, gathered in the pit, it shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. So they're going to be visited. It's not over with at that point. All right. It's not going to be over with at that point. Then the sun, verse 23, then the sun shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously. So that's what's going to happen when Yahushua comes back. All right, let's get Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. Okay, that's it. Will choose Israel and set them in their own land. If they were set in their own land, this prophecy will be fulfilled. But let's read on and see if that's the case. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Is that going on right now? No. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So the other nations are going to be servants and handmaids. All right. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right. But this process is not going to happen overnight. That's why you have the 1,000-year rulership. Okay. Because you have a lot of the other nations, they not going to be happy with this, man. You know, the nations were angry. We just read that in Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. The nations were angry. All right, they're not going to bow down. You know, everyone's not going to bow down willingly. But then if they don't, they're going to be destroyed. Okay? So that's how that's going to go down. Again, the work begins afterwards. Okay? So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 61. And we'll start at verse 4. And they shall build the old wastes, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. You see, everything has to be built up. All right, you're going to get rid of all this, more likely all this concrete, all these infrastructures, all these pagan idols like that, like that abomination in Brazil. Like all these different things have to be destroyed. Got to be completely destroyed. And again, if the Most High wanted this to happen just like that, of course he would do it. But this is going to be physical labor. Everything has to be built up. The kingdom has to be built up. All right. Yahushua told us the kingdom is not, you're not going to say lo there, and this is the kingdom coming from heaven. It's going to be, built up. All right. Verse 6, but they shall be named the priests of the Lord. We just read that in Revelation chapter 20. Okay. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, meaning the other nations, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. Okay. All right. So again, that's where you have, that's where the work begins. And that's where you have the 1,000-year rulership. Okay. Let's read Amos chapter 9 now, verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Okay, again, it has to be built. Okay. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. See, the remnant of Edom, because, the kings of Edom, they're going to be destroyed on sight. That part is going to be on sight. All right. And of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. I seen a brother, he was thinking which are called by my name was in reference to the heathen. It's talking about the children of Israel, which is called by the Most High's name, not the heathen here. The way it's written, I could see where someone would think that, but why we literally say they're going to be possessed and they're called by his name, the heathen and Edom. No, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. This is back to the original subject. In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David. All right. That's just an intersection of who's going to be possessed. But, that's not referring to the heathen, because the scriptures literally say that the heathen was not called by his name. Right. That's Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 19, where it reads, we are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name. And if you read up, you will see it's referring to the heathen. But either way, Let's keep going. Verse 13. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Okay? Yahushua shall take over the reaper, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. Okay? Verse 14. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof, and they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given them, saith the Lord thy power. So Israel has to be placed in a land. That's going to happen in the wilderness. Okay. That highway that Yahushua is going to create to take the children of Israel back into their land. And they're not going to be pulled up out of the land anymore at that point. But again, all nations will have to, they will have to submit into the Most High. They're going to be destroyed for it. All right. And the rest of the dead will not live again until after, everyone that was destroyed is going to have that final judgment where the Most High is going to completely eradicate them from existence. Okay, again, this is all a process. It's not going to happen just boom. Yahushua comes back and it's just boom, everything happens all at once. It's a process. Okay, let's get Micah chapter 4 and verse 1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it, the other nations. Okay, verse 2. And many nations shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Kings and priests. Okay. Again, many nations will come because they're going to understand that if they don't follow the law, if they don't submit to the Most High, they're going to be destroyed for it. Okay. It's going to be no more of these various religions and doctrines, and you can go this way and we respect your beliefs. No, if you believe in anything other than the Most High, you're going to be destroyed for it. Okay. There's either going to be hot or cold, righteous or wicked. That line is forever going to be cemented. There's not going to be any, it's not going to be any ambiguity there. Okay. Everyone's going to know what's righteous and then what's wicked, because Yahushua is going to set set the ground rules, meaning the covenant, the law, all right, the commandments. It's going to be set so that the children of Israel know exactly what, was commanded of our people, but also the other nations are going to know. All right. So that way, if someone's going off and they need to be destroyed for it. All right. Verse 3, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. All right, these are all pruning hooks and plowshares. These are, I would say gardening, or these are tools basically used for farming. Okay. So basically turning their weapons of, military weapons, or the swords and spears or the guns, turning their swords into plowshares, into tools, meaning they're going to go from, the conquerors to being conquered, okay, into captivity, into working for Israel. That's what's going to happen. Nation shall not lift up a sword again against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Okay. I want to get to a certain point. Okay, let's get verse 7. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. Verse 8. And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. Okay, that's that 1,000-year rulership, the first dominion. The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Okay, so Micah chapter 4 is going to that first, that first dominion, or the 1,000-year rulership. And then after the 1,000-year rulership, you have that second resurrection, or that the final judgment. And after that, it's going to be a wrap. Israel is going to reign forever. All right. That just happens to be the time period. But again, this does not mean that Israel is only going to reign for 1,000 years and somebody else is going to, start reigning, or, nothing like that. So once Yahushua comes back, it's a wrap for good. You just have this certain dispensation of time where the kingdom is going to be built up. And then you have the final enemy that's going to be destroyed is death. Okay, pursuant to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and even here in Revelation chapter 20. All right, so let's get the time. Before I go into verse 7 on down, I think we can wrap that up in one part. So let me expand on verse 5 and 6 a little bit more, and then we'll wrap up with one more part to finish out the rest of the chapter. So I think I can do the rest of the chapter in one part. Okay, let's get a classic here. First Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will bring the Most High with him. And let's go here. We did mention this earlier. Luke chapter 17 and verse 20. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees, Yahushua was, when the kingdom of the Most High should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of the Most High cometh not with observation. Okay, that's why we have the 1,000-year rulership. Verse 21, neither shall they say, lo here, or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. So, knowing that the kingdom of the Most High is within us being our people, we must embrace that now, right? We know that Yahushua is coming back in. Until that time, this place will not go down. This society will not be destroyed until Yahushua comes back and destroys it. And without him, we wouldn't be able to do that. However, the mentality, the spirit that we have to have, we need to be, preparing for that right now. It's kind of like, the way I look at it is, a lot of, especially women, but of course men too, when they're looking to, find a spouse, a significant other, a wife, a husband. Again, especially for the woman, they're looking for a man. They want to wild out. A lot of them want to wild out and do whatever they want to do, and then think, oh, okay, but when I get a man, I'm going to stop. No. You have to be that person before you get a man. And for brothers, you have to be, in this flesh, we have to be preparing ourselves to be that man. If we, Lord willing, would be able to, have a spot, in that first resurrection, in the 1,000 year rulership with Christ, and then on from there, if we even pray to get a spot, in the kingdom, well, we have to embrace that mentality right now because the kingdom is within us, meaning the power, you know, to establish and build the kingdom is within our people. All right. So we have to, embrace that right now. Not be the person that's waiting for Yahweh to come back and then I'm gonna try to be righteous then. Well, you know, what if, we not selected? Then we can't just wait on Yahweh. I see, brothers and sisters say that all the time. Well, for the feast days, I'm gonna just wait on Yahweh to come back and he'll, hey man, we gotta do what's best right now. If brothers and sisters, well, brothers in this case want to be, you want to be someone in Israel, we have to start that right now. Brothers have to try to lead their lives to the best of their abilities. If you're in corporate America, that's going to be one of the first places hit with the RFID chip. And not saying that if you have your own business, you're going to be 100% absolved from that. But, as we saw with COVID, corporate America is going to be one of the first testing grounds for some of these, agendas that the society is looking to push. So if you're a brother that don't want to be in corporate America, you got to be working on that right now. Now, well, when Yahweh come back, no. The kingdom of heaven is within you. All right. The kingdom of the Most High is within you. So we got to be working on that right now. All right. All right. We at Revelation chapter 2 now, verse 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. Verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. See, that's that same elect being mentioned here that was mentioned in Revelation chapter 20. Okay. They lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. That's going to be those that hold fast, wait on Yahweh, and is not a part of the beast system. And only the elect will not fall for the deceptions of the beast. By the way, everyone else, they're going to be deceived. Okay. Matter of fact, Yahweh said the very elect would be deceived if it wasn't for, it wasn't for their calling and election being sure. All right. Even they would be deceived. That's how much influence that this beast has over the people. All right. Verse 26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, you're not saved until the end. None of us are safe. Okay. And yes, I'm including all of us that know we're Israel. None of us are safe. I do believe, just my perspective on it, that a lot of us that know we're Israel and strive to keep the statute, laws, and commandments, we get complacent. It's 2/3 this and, they 2/3. How you don't know you in that lot? That's why, you can look back at this channel. I don't believe, I've said anything like anything about the 2/3 or anything like that, in years. Because I finally realized, I can't really, be talking about who's going to be destroyed or not, because that could be me. All right, we have to keep the works until the end, and we won't know who is really about Yahweh until there's some much greater tests. Yeah, during COVID, you had, certain men that were challenged with their jobs and livelihoods and chose not to take the vaccine. But, when we have life and death situations, that's when it's going to be clear, who is really about Yahweh or not. And no, I'm not saying that I'm free and clear of that either. When I say those words, by the way, I'm including myself in that. So, whoever encounter those challenges and keep us to working to the end, that's who the Most High, through the power of his Son, will give power over the nations to. Okay. And that will be a part of the elect. Verse 27, and he shall rule them, meaning the other nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Everybody know this is in Psalms, the second chapter 2, in Revelation chapter 19. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. This is in a quote unquote New Testament. All right. And, the brothers that claim they don't believe in the New Testament, I mean, why would the heathen make a collection of books that's about their own destruction? That doesn't even make any sense. I guess that's just part of the deception, huh? Yeah, all right. Even though it's not taught, it's just part of the deception, okay? Anyways, even as I received of my Father, and I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith into the churches. So that's going to be the power over the nations to subdue them. That's going to be given to the elect that holds fast and keepeth the works unto the end. Okay. It's not going to be intimidated by, really anything. Again, even death. All right. Not going to be intimidated by that. Taking away your possessions, cool. Whatever the case, I'm still in there. All right. That's going to be who's going to be given that honor to be a part of, that first rulership, which, again, the first dominion is just before the final judgment where, Israel is going to be in rulership anyways. This is going to be those that establish the kingdom. Okay. All right. Let's see. Had here 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 34, which more goes along with verses 5 and 6. So let's get that really quickly. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 34. Therefore, if so be that you will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, meaning, not take the mark in your hand or in your forehead, neither, subdue yourself to the beast or his image, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. For after death shall the judgment come. All right, that's that second death. That judgment is going to bring forth the second death. All right. When we shall live again. Remember, it says the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. The rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. Okay, this is the first resurrection. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Okay, that's going to be in the judgment. All right, that's written about here in verses 11 on down. All right. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10. And I think we're going to clear it out from here just so we can see what the 1,000-year reign entails here in the scriptures. All right. It says Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Again, that's going to be hardcore captivity that the other nations are going to be in. They're going to build up the walls, going to build up the kingdom. And their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Okay, so that's going to be the mercy, being able to be a slave, essentially. Verse 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. So, the forces of the Gentiles, all the things that the other nations have, their hours are going to be returned, and everything they got is going to be ours. Ours meaning our people, the children of Israel. All right. Verse 12. And like I've been saying the whole time, I wanted to grab this. For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So those that endure into the end, that are going to be kings and priests of the Most High and His Son, that are going to be given power over the nations that we just read in verse 27 here. All right, or well, in verse 26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works, in Revelation 2, by the way, and to the end, to him will I give power over the nations. To do what? To utterly waste and perish the nation and kingdom that will not serve the Most High. So, the Most High is going to, through the power of His Son, Yahweh Shah is going to send certain men to, nations and kingdoms and say, hey, where you at with it? You down with the Most High? You going to keep these statute laws, commandments, or what? What's up? No, we not keeping nothing. All right, bet. Yaka, it is, it's up. Like the young folks say, it's gonna be up from there. It's up. All right, let's read this again, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted and fall by the sword, like in Isaiah 13 and 15, I want to say. Isaiah chapter 13 and 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So the nations that, they not down with keeping the statute, laws, and commandments, all right, they're going to be utterly wasted. All right, because again, all the other nations that are left round about, all right, like the scriptures say, they're going to be in captivity and they're going to be given an option. If they don't take that option, they're going to be destroyed. So we have at least one more part that we want to go over. I know a brother did ask about, he put quote unquote Christ's kingdom, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that answered that. But Lord willing, this was edifying. There's so many more scriptures and accounts we could have got, but again, just for the sake of time, I didn't go into everything that we could have gotten. But either way, Lord willing, it was edifying. And until the next time, I bid everyone a mighty shalom.